what are the obstacles for you in terms of having pad split everywhere? I think you guys are in 15 states right now. Like, is it capital? Is it regulatory? Like, what are the barriers?
Yes. So, I mean, to pull up a second, like we run into pushback, I'd say, from two sets of groups. Uh, the ideologues are one of them, and those are sometimes harder for me to wrap my head around because we should be pushing in the same direction, but it's like the general feeling like perfect can be the enemy of good, and because it's not nonprofit or it's not government or everyone doesn't have their own apartment with granite countertops and 700 square feet. That therefore it is less than, and it is not enough to be what affordable housing should be and what everyone deserves. And so that's one group. The other group is maybe more obvious, which is NIMBYs. Folks who say, well, not in my backyard. Yes, affordable housing might be important, but I don't want it here. And uh, to those, I mean, there are two fundamental arguments. One, ethical, which is, do you think the people who serve your community deserve an opportunity to live there? Right? Do the teachers, firefighters, service workers, the security guards, like who are ultimately part of the ecosystem that serves you, do they at least deserve? I wouldn't even say a right, but do they deserve an opportunity to live in your community? And most people will not answer that question negatively, at least in public. They might do it behind closed doors, and we know they think it, but from a political argument, it's very difficult to justify that point of view. And then for the ideologues, it's simply a question of practicality. And we look at, yeah, I mean, shelter is at the lowest level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And how can we create more opportunities as quickly and cost effectively as possible? Because the reality is we don't have the money. Like, we don't have the money nor the time to solve this issue in the traditional way that we have tried to address it over my lifetime. And so everyone likes to use the buzzword innovation, but few people are willing to understand that that comes with trade-offs. And again, for me, it's such an obvious solution because there are two major problems in as you think about housing affordability generally. You've got one, which is a supply problem, and it's simply supply and demand, and two, which is access, which few people talk about, and it's related to supply, but not but still separate from supply. On the supply side, if you look at the average space per person in the United States over the last 70 years, in 1950, based on census data, we used 298 square feet per person. Well, and that jives with most people. I mean, if you watch an old black and white TV show, or you just have had parents who lived in 900 square foot houses with their 3 or 4 siblings, like that fits. Well, today that number is 867 square feet per person, and yet we have this massive supply shortage. So it's not that we have a supply problem; we have a distribution problem, and it's trapped inside empty bedrooms. I mean, you have millions of empty bedrooms around the country. It's trapped in just wasted space that's already been built, to the point where you could solve the entire shortage. So National Low Income Housing Coalition estimates that there's a shortage of 7.3 million deeply affordable homes. Well, if you simply were efficient as you were in 1950, 298 square feet per person, you've solved that entire gap with less than 1% of existing housing stock today without building a single thing. So like that's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. And for me, what I say is obvious is, why don't you just put people in the bedrooms? And if you had a way to put people in the bedrooms, then like, you wouldn't have to spend so much money, $1 million or so per unit in a place like California, to create new units. The question is one, technology, two, trust, and three, incentive. And if you can address those issues, like, that's a much cheaper, much faster solve than anything else that's out there, regardless of whether you do it with investors or homeowners or however you get it done. But like, the space exists.
Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. Please do hit like and subscribe and hit that bell if you want to be notified every time a new episode drops. Thank you.